Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another episode of Frail Conversations. Um, today is gonna be a really good one. Um, because I'm gonna be talking about the three types of masculine energy, and I think this is a very necessary topic because, for one, I think it's often overlooked, and for two, it's kind of segueing off of a relationship type connection type vibe that is happening with these most recent episodes. Um, But yeah, this is a very, very important type of energy that we need to understand because I'm learning that we're creating relationships with people and we don't understand what it is that we're actually connecting with when it comes to that person, you know. And I want to speak on it from the male's perspective and from the masculine perspective as to what it is. So now, if you know me and you know the way I give, my information, like you can pretty much see the mirror side to it. So if this is going to be for the three types of masculine energy, all you got to use is your critical thinking skills and you can find the three types of feminine energy. Excuse me. But it's just a little jokey joke for you. But now it's a very important topic because I'm learning that when it comes to relationships, I'm seeing something occur that shouldn't be occurring, and we're building the relationships. I personally feel off of the wrong connection of the types of energy that we're looking for. And this leads to us as men, being what women call fuck boys and all that other shit. There's so many different monikers they put on us. And sometimes, we can literally be oblivious to the shit. And we be like, yo, how can I be the bad guy in this situation for being a certain way? And it's because there's a certain essence and a certain energy that we're exuding when we're connecting into that relationship. And because we're unaware of it and the woman is unaware of it, when that energy comes out and we actually lead with that energy, it kind of takes its toll and it kind of sets its tone onto as to what that woman is going to view us as when the relationship is over. You feel what I'm saying? Or while the relationship is going on. And then there's certain essences that occur. And so I felt like it was very, very important to talk about because, just recently I was just discussing toxic relationships and shit. And I think this has some kind of precedence in it in understanding the types of relationships that we're dealing with. And when we're finally able to understand that, we can better connect with the relationship because we know what type of relationship we're actually forming. And if we know what type of relationship that we're forming, then it can be a lot more successful. Is it going to work? Is it going to go to the end? I don't know. You feel me? I can't guarantee that because that's dependent upon a person. But I do know that as long as we understand the types of masculine energy that we're exuding when we're connecting with a relationship, we'll be able to know what type of relationship we're forming and how not to blur certain lines, because that's where the fuck up is. Because we're doing certain shit by making certain we're doing certain shit in the wrong connection. You do what I'm saying? Like there's certain connections that we made that certain shit is not supposed to happen in, but we're making that shit happen as far as sex and commitment and you know monogamy and platonic, and like these things all go into certain energies that we're actually exuding as masculine. Well, when it comes to masculinity, so yeah, so that's what I'll be going over. So I didn't want to allude to it because I kind of just want to jump into it and what I'm saying, get y'all straight in the head with it. But before we get in, always, if you're not already, follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Follow the Just Scene Podcast at the Just Scene Podcast on Instagram. Follow if you're trying to get into the plant-based lifestyle. Follow the Hitting the Raw program. Be sure to check out my books: So Frail, A Reality to Black Belt Masculinity; So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity; and Hitting the Raw, Living the Raw Plant-Based Lifestyle for Life. The links to all of the everything that I just said is in the description of your podcast. And the books are sold everywhere books are sold online. And also be sure to check out the merchandise at Just Scenes Merch. You can get some dope designs that are centered around us. You feel me? And I think that's it. Oh, and also if you want to support the podcast, be sure to do so by clicking the link in the description of your podcast. So with that being said, I think that covers everything. Yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna hop back into it and just get it in. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right, welcome back. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hop straight into it and discuss the three types of masculine energy. So first of all, I've always got to give my definition of what masculinity is, because it's like I don't want any discrepancies as to what I'm talking about, because masculinity is a very touchy subject with people. Nowadays everybody's saying our shit is toxic or whatever the case may be, not realizing that it's really dormant. You feel me? So when it comes to masculinity and going forward, understanding what I will be discussing it on and as is the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. If you read the book, So Frail, A Reality of Black Masculinity, you understand exactly why I defined it as that. But that's the definition that I use when it comes to masculinity, because I'm speaking on it from an essential standpoint. You feel me? Not describing it. I'm giving a definite definition behind it, because in order for us to thoroughly understand something, we need to define it. So now, with that being said, we understand that masculinity will be the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. So with that being said, there's three types of masculine energy. So there's three types of ways in which we, analyze and deconstruct, right? And those three types of ways I'm going to define, I'm going to call fraternal, spousal, and paternal. You feel what I mean? And the reason why those three energies are important is, as I was saying earlier, is because we're creating relationships, but we're blurring lines as to which type of energy we're exuding and which way we're supposed to connect with somebody. And, I'll discuss all of that, within each topic and go over it. But people got to understand that when we're building relationships, when you're building a relationship, you need to be sure to be in tune with which energy you're connecting with. You feel me? Because certain energies you can't have serious or intimate relationships with, because it's kind of not right. But we're trying to connect on that, and then we get it because we're blurring the lines and not knowing what's up. So the first type of energy the first type of masculine energy we have is fraternal energy, right? Just like, the word fraternal, it's, but I don't want it to seem as brotherly. I want it to be viewed as sibling, because when it comes to fraternal energy, that is the masculine energy that comes off, that gives us the friendly vibe. That is the masculine energy that allows us to make friends with people. That is the masculine energy that allows us to make close bonds with people. So the fraternal type of masculine energy is the one that is going to give you the perspective of, that's my brother. You feel me? That's my brother. And I can learn from him as my brother. I can live with him as my brother, and I can interact with him as my brother. Now this isn't just, from the brother's perspective as, two men linking up, but it's also from the opposite sex perspective as a man and a woman connecting. It's like, yo, that's my sister. Like, yo, that's established through fraternal energy, right? That's established through fraternal masculine energy. So as I was saying, there's things that you're not supposed to be doing. So when it comes to that fraternal energy shit, you're not supposed to cross certain lines. Why? Because that energy established in essence is going to be, incestual, for lack of a better term. But like metaphorically, it's going to be like incestual energy when you cross that line, when you establish a connection with fraternal masculine energy but we don't stick to it being fraternal in connection. You know what I mean? And the reason why is, like I said, a lot of times we don't understand that that's the type of masculine energy we're connecting with, or we are using to connect. You feel what I'm saying? So the fraternal energy, as I said, is more geared towards, okay, sibling connection. So you have sibling rivalry and then sibling honoring. You feel what I mean? So let's take that, a step further. So a lot of times when we establish relationships, you know, the art the fraternal energy is what gives us our playful nature. You feel me? That's what gives us a quote unquote sense of humor. That's what gives us the shit that makes people, laugh and, and find comfort in us. Well, I ain't gonna say comfort. I'm gonna say entertainment. The fraternal energy brings about entertainment. It makes you have that entertaining factor. So when you have the masculine essence of spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment, the essence of synthesis and analysis and deconstruction, then that one of the filters in which you have to manifest that is through fraternal energy. You feel me? So when we are building our relationships, right, the first phase is to make it fraternal, but we stop there. You feel me? We stop there. This is why we get into relationships, as men. And, the woman that we were with, she first starts off with, oh my gosh, I love your sense of humor. And then it grows to, oh, you play too much, because she wants us to mature. They say shit like, oh, you got to mature. You got to get older. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's not the case, because you can't, the connection that you two established was based off of fraternal energy. That's the level of masculinity that she brought out of you. Fraternal energy. You feel me? And we got to be everybody naturally brings out one of those three phases of us. I'll get to the next two in a sense, but the energetic connection that you make with somebody is going to bring out that specific energy. So when you guys first meet or you guys first connect and it's all playful, it's all, okay, let's joke, let's have fun. Martin and Gina type relationship. Everybody says they want that kind of relationship. You feel me? Because they're looking at it from the soul aspect of the sense of humor part. There's other levels to the shit in which they actually connected. But if you want the sense of humor and shit, you're going to make a fraternal connection. Your energy is going to be fraternal. You feel what I'm saying? And here's why it's problematic on that side, because, the women are complaining about making a fraternal connection and they're telling us we need to mature, and we're not seeing the maturing aspect in it. You feel me? Because we don't have to. Because it's like, yo, this is what made you want to fuck with me on that type of time. And so we make sure that we keep that spark and that vitality alive in it. So in connecting and making a relationship out of the fraternal energy, you're in essence going to be playful all the time, but that's not the case. That can't be the case. You feel what I mean? And as they say, the same way you get them is how you're going to lose them. She's like, oh my gosh, you make me laugh so much. You play so much. And it's just like that. And it becomes, you play too much and it gets annoying and it gets irritating. And you can't figure out what's wrong. It's like, yo, this is what made you like me the first place. This is how you started fucking with me. You knew I played from the beginning. And the problem is, she's like, well, you need to grow up. No, he doesn't need to grow up. And he can't grow up. Not in the sense of, he's stuck there. But it's like, there's a connection there. You brought out his fraternal energy. And the connection that you two had manifested as him bringing out fraternal energy, and by default you bringing out the other side. So you guys are technically siblings, and you're gonna play as such. Your energy is gonna be connected as such. And here's why it becomes problematic, because once you cross that line and you establish a relationship, a serious relationship, fraternal energy is designed to be platonic. So we try to create an intimate situation out of fraternal energy, a fraternal connection. You feel what I'm saying? And it's not. It's not. And it can never be. You feel me? So I say in today's society, 80% of our relationships are based off that. And this is why they're failing. But 80% of our relationships are based off that, because we're making fraternal connections. We're making the fraternal energy connection with the person. And we're trying to build a long-term relationship with that shit. Or we're trying to build some solid shit. Or we're trying to take shit seriously. You can't. There's too much entertainment for the fraternal energy. You feel me? Like your siblings are designed to entertain you. Like that's not what they're born for, but that's where you get your bulk of entertainment from. You feel me? Your laughs and shit like that. That's that type of energy. In addition to that, that's also the energy that's going to ride for you, that's going to fight for you. You feel me? But to the core, to the core of it, that energy is about entertainment. You feel me? So this is why when we do, and then off the other side of that, my brother's got to pay attention to this. Like when we're making connections from the fraternal aspect with women, and then she starts to say, "Oh, I'm bored. I'm bored." You feel what I'm saying? That shows, okay, bam, you made that connection fraternally. You know what I mean? And you wanted more. You wanted more. And when you wanted more, certain shit's got to stop. I can't play with you all the time. I'm not going to play with you all the time. I'm not going to entertain you all the time. But we set that standard and it stays there. And that's the way we connected with them. So when we start to say, I want more, and then I still want to party. I still want to go have fun. I still want to do this. You guys connected from that aspect. This is why it's like that fraternal energy. You probably, chances are, if you guys made a connection off of fraternal energy, you met at a club or a party. Right? And dudes, like my brothers, we got to stop doing this shit. Meet a girl in a club. Like that was her habitat at the time. You feel me? That was your habitat at the time. Don't meet her and then say, okay, I don't want her in the club anymore. Like you met her and you made the connection from the fraternal energy. And then now you want to give more. I'll tell which the next energy is, but now all of a sudden you want to give more. You're like, I didn't want to connect this way. You feel me? That's the same shit. Like, oh, she can't give up the club. She can't leave the club life alone. She ain't grown. No, she is grown. She is an adult. And she can be very mature. She could be very serious about her shit. She could be about her business. However, what you connected with was the fraternal energy. Therefore, by default, would be considered sororal, I guess, if that's a word and shit. And it was the sibling energy that you two connected with. That's why in the beginning it seems so fun. You guys can stay up for hours and laugh and joke and play. And you know what I mean? It's always ha ha ha. You're like, oh my gosh, we had a phone conversation for like 8 hours long. And over this, I was up walking around, feet up on the wall and shit, in awkward positions talking on the phone. That's fraternal. And because of that, the moment you cross that line and you try to make a spousal connection, you try to view fraternal energy spousally, you're going to fuck up. That relationship isn't going to work because the fraternal isn't designed to be taken seriously. It's supposed to entertain you. It's supposed to be the lighthearted connection with it. It's supposed to be the energy that manifests itself to bring you to a joyous state. That's what that energy is about. You feel what I'm saying? So we got to look at that, and we really got to, consider when we going into our relationships. As men, we got to start saying, okay, am I connected to this person from the fraternal aspect? Is it fun all the time? Because it can't be, it can't be. And another point to that is like, you're not supposed to be fucking the people that you're connecting with from the fraternal aspect. That's where a lot of it fucks up too. You feel me? And this is the quintessential standpoint of what a fuckboy is. So inherently, I know this is going to seem very contradictory and it's going to go against the whole theme of So For Real. Inherently, a fuckboy is not bad when you understand what a fuckboy really is. You feel me? And in essence, a lot of fuckboys aren't toxic. You got with the fuckboy, you feel me? And you might be a fuckboy simply because you're connecting from the fraternal energy. And they wanted more. You feel me? Or you attempted to have more. Like, no, you guys weren't supposed to connect on that level. You were supposed to continue playing around. But, when it comes to the relationships in today's society, it's like, yo, I like you, you like me. Why do you like me? What energy do you like? We really got to step back and start asking that question. What energy is it that you like in me? Because in that energy in which you like, I now have to create the truest realm of what's going to be comfortable. You feel me? Are we going to be able to play all the time? Ideally, no. So this is why when it comes to the fuckboy, women will say some shit. Oh, you only hit me up. You only hit me up when you just, you want some ass or you want to do this thing. Like, you feel, okay, bam, I want some ass, I'm gonna hit her up and shit and blah blah blah. And they be thinking it's a bad thing. Nah, let's take away the details and strip and look at the principles. I hit you up when I want to have fun and play because that's what siblings do. Like that's what the sibling energy is about. Playtime and entertainment. Anything outside of that, I don't do that shit. I'm gonna run it from the metaphor like this, right? Your sibling, let's say you're in the 5th grade, your sibling's in the 3rd. Or whatnot. Y'all are pretty much close in age and shit. You know, when y'all come home from school, whatever the case may be, y'all do your homework separately because it has nothing to do with each other. You feel what I'm saying? Now you might ask the older sibling for help. You know, the 5th grade, yo, I don't know how to do 8 times 7. How do I figure this out? You know, they tell you, oh, it's 56. Break it down like this. You feel me? That's from the work's perspective. But then when y'all go outside and y'all playing together, y'all playing tag, whatever it is, y'all ain't thinking about them fucking math problems anymore. Y'all aren't thinking about work. You're not thinking about that. Y'all thinking solely about entertainment because that's what sibling energy does. You feel me? So now we look at the fuck boy. You know, that's the connection that was made through fraternal energy. We look at the bum bitch, like, you feel me? Or no, I'm not gonna say bum bitch because I don't want to put that extra negative connotation on it. But the bad bitch who's like, yo, she's a live wire, she's this. Yeah, she excites you because it's fun. It's like a sibling, bro. It's like a sibling. And in that connection to a sibling, we blur the lines and we try to have relationships out of the shit. You feel me? Because we're trying to elevate somebody. We're trying to mature. Like, you can't change anything you can't change anything about a connection other than the fact that you have to disconnect from it. And the way in which you connect with somebody, the way in which you truly connect with somebody is the way that your relationship will stay. You feel what I'm saying? So it's very, very tricky, and it's very, very important that when you're establishing a relationship, this is what talking is about. Stop motherfucking getting the number, being friendly enough to fuck the person, and then fucking them, and then feel like, oh, I want more. No, you don't even know what the fuck you want. You didn't even know what you you didn't even know what you connected with. You feel what I'm saying? You didn't even know what it was that you're connecting with. And like I said, about 80% of the relationships are made from connections of the fraternal energy. And that's a relationship that is not supposed to be made intimate. That is a relationship that is not supposed to be taken to, quote unquote, the next level. That's why there's levels to relationships. You know, you meet the person, you're friendly, but your sibling is always going to bring the fun side of you. Therefore, they're only going to show you the good. You feel me? They're only going to show you the good. And when it feels good at the beginning, when it's talking and it's having fun and it's staying up all night and shit, then all of a sudden that shit stops. No, because reality kicked in, and now I have other energies that you got to connect to. You feel me? I have other energies that you got to connect to, which now segues into, you know, the second energy. Now, granted, each of us, we have the capacity for all 3 energies, right? But it's on us to know that in order to be in a healthy relationship, all 3 are ultimately going to have to manifest themselves. You feel me? You can't just be in solitude. Okay, I'm just going to operate from the fraternal because you're going to get a playful motherfucker, and you're going to be a playful motherfucker. Always got to turn up. So then by the time you actually change your life and say, okay, bam, if you made a connection, let's say you make a connection with a woman off of the fraternal connection, that fraternal energy of the masculine essence. Now you matured and you grow up and you put that shit down. That's who she knows you as. That's who she thinks is all you're going to be. You feel me? And she's going to move as such, and you're going to move as such. And in order to make that relationship work, guess what you have to do? You have to stay in that energy space, which is impossible to do because you can't play all the fucking time. But we do. And then those who do play all the time, they're considered the fuck boys because it's like, it's always fun. You feel me? So a fuck boy necessarily isn't inherently bad. However, the connection that a woman has, she is attempting to make a spousal connection or a deeper connection with somebody she was only supposed to connect to friendship wise or fraternally. You feel me? But she fell for the fraternal because all of a sudden, oh, I like your sense of humor. I like the way you play. Like, yeah, you're really going to like the way I play in the long run. But anyway, that's not here nor there. So that's the first energy. That's fraternal. So the second energy is spousal, right? Spousal is what I'm going to call the intimate aspect. And this is where relationships are supposed to be connected with. See, the thing about spousal energy, though, is it's I would say about, I should have saved this for last because it's not like many of our relationships aren't built off of spousal energy because we have not acknowledged the spousal energy. You feel what I mean? And we always attempt to have spousal relationships, but like I said, it begins from the fraternal aspect. So when it comes to the spousal energy, what that is that is the true intimate relationship. You know what? I'm gonna cut it right here, and I'm gonna start. I'm gonna, well, not cut it, but I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna save the spousal for last because it's very important that we go through the level. So the actual second one that I'm going, so disregard all of that said because we're gonna come back to it later. So the second one is actually paternal, not fraternal, FR, but paternal. You feel me? And this is would be considered fatherly energy, right? This is if 80% of us connect through the fraternal aspect, then another, I say a good, I'm just trying to make up statistics and shit. This ain't really real, but it sounds good when you use the statistics, but it's just the majority of what I'm saying. But so if about 88 out of 10 motherfuckers are connecting from fraternal, then about 15%, about 15% of the people are connected from the paternal energy, maybe more. You feel me? Because like I said, I'm just throwing out numbers and, it sounds good, but it's just a reality that you got to pay attention to because it is a real reality too. You feel me? So when we're looking at the paternal energy, which is the fatherly energy, which is the parental energy at the same time, we have made a connection off of that too. Now, these energies come about this is really kind of like a very quintessential piece because these energies come about and they really are the establishment of toxic relationships because we're connecting from a perspective of parental energy with someone who's not our child, someone who's not our child and not supposed to be our child. But when we create these energies, when we create these connections and we think we build these relationships, somebody's going to have to be taken care of because the standpoint, if the fraternal energy is about entertainment, then the paternal energy is going to be about safety. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's levels to relationships, but the paternal energy is going to be about safety and care. Because like I said, if you're looking at it from the opposite perspective of maternal, it's going to be about caring and shit, right? So a bulk of our relationships, the energy is connected through the paternal aspect. This is why this is very problematic and fucked up because they're not our fucking parent. And we're not their parent. We're not supposed to be. But a lot of times, the manner in which we connect, the way in which we actually establish this relationship, what happens is this sets the tone for us to make a connection in which we have to always care for this person. We always trying to be there for this person. And women always say shit like, oh, I'm not your mother. I'm not your mother. Your mother, like whatever the case may be. And you're not. You're right. You're right. But men are also not your fathers. So we got to also look at that shit. There's things that, if you miss certain aspects growing up from the parental energy you were supposed to have, you're going to seek that and find that in the paternal energy of the person that you're trying to deal with. However, again, you're not supposed to create a relationship, intimate relationship with somebody you're connecting to paternally or maternally. You feel what I mean? You're not supposed to do it, but we do it anyway. Why? It's because, oh, this person gives me solid structure. This person gives me this kind of, feel. So I can cross the line because somebody finally cares for me the way that I've always cared for people. The problem is the reason why you've always cared for people the way that you have is because, for one, it's the natural human instinct. But however, you're trying to build a relationship off of that shit. It's not supposed to be that way. You feel what I mean? It's just not supposed to be that way. Nobody's going to be that. Again, metaphorically, it's ancestral. You feel what I mean? To create a relationship based off of the connection that you were supposed to have with a parent. You feel what I'm saying? This relationship, this conceptualization became real to me when I realized that I was attracting a lot of broken women. And I was like, yo, what is it about these women that, what do they like about me? Like, it was cool. There's all three aspects in the relationship that I was connecting with, but it's like when you find that energy and you create it through the paternal aspect, what is it that you're actually doing with this person? You feel what I'm saying? So the paternal energy that we're connecting with is like, it's very fatherly. You're giving advice. You're giving guidance. You're giving, structure and discipline to this shit. This is very fucked up because now we're escalating it a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? Because now, okay, we made this first connection off of fraternal energy, but I have the capacity to go to paternal, but you only want to stay at the sibling connection and entertainment. So then when, you start coming to me for, yo, here's this problem. You feel me? You're not coming to me as a sibling saying, here's this problem, expecting me to say, all right, well, do your best. But from the paternal energy, it's now, okay, here's the guidance behind it. Here's what it is. It eventually gets to the point where women will get to that point like, yo, he's not my father. I don't stop trying to be my daddy. And he's not trying to be your daddy. You just made a connection with this man off of his paternal energy. Why? Because you acknowledge that even when you're trying to say, okay, he's not my dad, there's something that he does have that your dad doesn't. Or he's something that he does have that your dad does. And that makes you connect with him on that level. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the commonality in which you give. Like they say, a person is going to, ultimately end up in a relationship with somebody that's like their parent or the complete opposite from their parent. You feel me? Why? Because the parent's going to set the tone, but it's like now I have to find that paternal energy within my significant other, within the person that I'm dealing with. You feel what I'm saying? So this is where we get the very stable and boring relationships, the ones that motherfuckers don't even want. It's fucked up. Don't nobody want a stable relationship. It's you feel me? They want the stability of the paternal energy, right? It's like, yeah, but then it's like when you actually see a relationship that's connecting off of paternal energy, that shit sucks. That shit's trash. That shit is ass. That shit is bullshit because it's like, damn, you ultimately become parents too fast and you don't have kids. You feel me? It's always on some lame shit. It's on some, I ain't gonna say lame because I don't want it to seem like parents ain't cool. Because, parents, they be cool as fuck sometimes. But the thing is, it's like, you cannot be in an intimate relationship with that alone. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get to the third point, which is gonna make this all make sense. But you can't get to that intimate relationship alone. You feel me? You have to, like I said, go through the levels of shit. But with that paternal energy, this is safe. This is, calming. There's technically, when you have the paternal energy, there's so much stability that it's not much growth. You feel me? It's not much growth. And then it seems like it just stops. And coming from the fraternal energy, or that, like I said, the fraternal energy is excitement. It's entertainment. And that shit happens so rapidly. You're like, oh my gosh, I just fell for this person. No, you didn't. You got attached to the energy of positivity and excitement. That's what you got attached to. You didn't fall for this person, and you don't fall fast. You feel me? You connected with the sibling energy because it was very entertaining and engaging and you wanted that to rock. Then when the motherfucker shifts to the paternal energy and it stops and gets boring, it's like, oh shit. Like, remember when it's like the conversations come up of, remember when we used to do this? Remember when we do this? And then we used to always go out and we don't really do anything. Let's go do some excitement. Because now you have shifted to paternal energy from the fraternal connection you originally had. It was never established. Oh shit, we're developing and growing. So now we're not able to operate from that fraternal energy. So now we start to operate from paternal energy. And by operating from paternal energy, we get bored. We don't do the fun shit anymore. Why? Because it's not the energy that we're exuding. That's not the energy that we're now operating in. Why? Because we got bills and shit. When I met you, we were undergrad. We were in undergrad. We was wilding out. We was in the club. Like, you feel me? We can't do that shit forever. But see, that's why it's very important that you have to understand that you have to grow with your relationship and you have to know which energy you're connecting with for this person, because you can be trying to build a long-term relationship, which is ultimately the paternal, more stable relationship with a motherfucker who's fraternal for you. And that shit don't work. That shit don't work. And you can't be a vital part of that because now you feel like you're always trying to take care of her. It's like, this is the shit where, you got that girl that you got to bring home from the club and she drunk as fuck. Or vice versa. You got to take care of this man that's like always drunk as fuck from, like, you feel me? That's the paternal shit. Oh, I just want to take care of your heart. You can't build no relationship on that shit because you're not the parent. And that's what hurts. That's what gets you fucked up in the game. Hey, huddle up, broskies, because it's time to elevate. The secret to evolving masculinity is to define it, understand it, then apply it. The So Frail series defines masculinity as the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. From this definition, I explain how masculinity is not just the hat that we wear, but it's the essence that we must exude through application. If you enjoy the So Frail conversations, why not read the books that inspire them? Visit IamJustSeen.com right now to add the So Frail series to your library to get a better understanding of what masculinity really is. I promise, after reading So Frail, you will never look at masculinity the same again. That's what get us fucked up in the game, because it's like we're trying to be this person's parent. You feel me? Oh, the person sets that tone because they act like our child. Let's not forget that. Like, that's what brings the energy out. You feel me? For the paternal energy to manifest, there has to be the childlike energy as well. And that's where the connection comes in. So when that paternal energy kicks in, they gravitate towards that because I've been in situations where women were like, yo, I like the way that you bring stability to me. Oh shit. Here we go. You feel me? Because they all about chaos and playing all the motherfucking time. You feel what I'm saying? I know but I've learned that the reason why I connected with them on that level was because they needed that from me. You feel me? They needed that from me. They needed that structure. So it fucks with their reality, because it's like and it fucks with my own, because it's like I wasn't supposed to lead with that energy. I wasn't even supposed to connect with that type of energy. But it just so happened that that's what they were attracted to within me. So we got to pay attention to the attractive factors too. You know, are we connected to what the person is? Like, what is the person needing to be attracted to? You know, there's people who there's significant others who naturally have to attract to one specific aspect of us and can't attract to everything. So even if we try to give them more, we can't. You feel me? And that's when it comes to paternal energy, and they say, yo, you ain't my mama, yo, you ain't my daddy, and blah, 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 blah. Because it's like we're operating from paternal energy, and sometimes we can feel taken aback. Like, we feel like, I ain't trying to be your motherfucking daddy, yo, but if you stop, you know what I mean? Like, coming at me, asking for advice all the time, making fucked up decisions, and just not being able to coherently come to a certain conclusion, then I stop. But it's like, you don't even know that the reason why you're doing that is because it's paternal energy, and you're trying to provide safety. You're trying to provide advice. You're trying to provide what the fuck a father figure is supposed to provide, which is paternal energy. And so women who didn't have that growing up, and it works the same way. As I said, it's a mirror image. Anybody who didn't really have that, or didn't have it the way they needed it, that's what they're going to gravitate towards. And so when I consider the relationships that I have with women who connect with me from the paternal energy, they have some kind of fucked up relationship with their pops. Either he was cold towards them, or he wasn't. Like, and so here I come, and then that's what they've been lacking. That's what the type of energy they lacked in their life. So they're automatically going to gravitate towards it, and they're going to bring out what they need. You feel what I mean? When a woman wants excitement, she's going to go with a younger guy for some reason and shit, because it's like, okay, I need this energy. So she's going to go and try to get this energy from this person. So she's going to connect with him fraternally, which is fucked up, because you got to be very, very careful. That small thing that you need is not, let me rephrase that. That small thing that you need is not a big thing that you want, and you should not create a relationship off of that. You feel me? Sometimes you just wanted to know that your father, what it felt like to have paternal energy. Okay, you get that shit. Don't try to lock that shit down because you never had it, because now you're operating from an extreme. You feel what I'm saying? And so once that paternal energy is laid on the table, and that's what we're connected with, we have to make a choice. You feel what I mean? And this is where, as funny as it is, this is just a metaphor, but this is Captain Saberhose. Like, the dude's just like, yo, I gotta save her and shit. Those are operated from paternal energy. You feel me? I don't want you to be out in these streets. I don't want you to be doing this, girl. I could take care of you. I could do this shit. That's paternal energy. You feel me? And y'all get fucked over because you're not looking for women that are going to reciprocate with maternal energy. You want hot girls and shit. That's why the shit works. Like, the paternal energy is easily exploited by sugar babies. Like, the sugar daddy, sugar baby complex shit. That's where that shit works heaviest. That's where that shit works the best at. You dig what I'm saying? And it works because it's a paternal energy with the live wire energy. So it's like, okay, we can come together, and we don't have to cross any lines, whatever the case may be. But I take care of you. I get off from taking care of you, or whatever the case may be, because I'm operating from the paternal energy and you're connecting. You feel me? And then, like I said, but you have people that need that. Those are the wounded people. That's when the paternal energy starts to become a little dark with it, because it's like I now have to I now have to I now try to take on a role of caregiver, and that's not me. That's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be your significant other. I'm not supposed to be your parent. But we take on that role because that person may have been lacking that when we first met them, and we set the tone on that. When I was just talking about my last episode on toxic relationships, where I was like, well, we find that one thing that makes a person feel good or like us, and then we try to multiply it. So when we're operating from the paternal energy, if that's the one thing that makes it, we stay there, and we're not supposed to, because there's levels to relationship. You feel me? And I would say that would be the second level. So now, from paternal energy, we now have to go into the third one. So now I can bring it back to the spousal. The spousal is the one where where the relationship and the energy is intimate. This right here is the one where you're supposed to be having sex. This is the energy where you're supposed to be creating babies. This is the energy in which you're supposed to be creating the longevity for your relationship. Not fraternal, not paternal, but spousal. And because the spousal energy is when it gets intimate. You feel me? The spousal energy is when the connection is made and the connection is solidified through the other two facets. So like I said, I've been saying it's levels to the shit. So your connection should be fraternal. So in the grand scheme of it, a successful relationship, a healthy relationship has all three components. You have the fraternal energy, you have the paternal energy, and you have the spousal energy. And the spousal energy is that energy that, brings peace. It makes you want to come home. You feel what I mean? So we get the whole be his peace type shit. And here's another thing. This is why this is why I'm learning that women don't want to be our peace anymore. Because we keep telling them this shit, be our peace and shit. They can't be our peace if they're connected with us from fraternal energy, and they don't get the shit. But I'm gonna talk about that a little later. Let me get on spousal real quick. So when it comes to the spousal connection and shit like that, that is the connection in which your relationship is built. Because that's the intimacy. You feel me? That's the intimacy. It's the point where I don't have to have anything going on. Not like physically and shit. I mean, like, as far as work and shit like that. But the spousal connection is the deep connection that transcends everything else. It's when you're able to be. You feel me? There's not an aspect of you that has to show up. You're able to be. And the spousal connection is the connection that is where love happens. You feel me? Not lust, not entertainment, but love. You feel me? Love is not a feeling. Love is not an emotion. Love is a power. You feel what I'm saying? This is what I was saying. It kind of segues off of the last couple podcasts I was doing. Because if you go to the chakra podcast, I talk about sacral, solar plexus, and heart chakras, right? The sacral chakra energy governs your feelings. Your root, your solar plexus chakra governs your emotions. So again, emotions and feelings are different. We make them synonymous. That's why it's very important to define shit. You feel me? And this is why I'm such this is a tangent, but this is why I advocate on masculinity, because masculinity is so objective and it gives the definition of what things are, as opposed to description, which is what femininity is. So a lot of times we make things synonymous that are not defined the same. And because they're not defined the same, it can fuck you up when you're trying to express them. But anyway, back to the point. So then the heart chakra is where love is, right? So literally the tiers go from sacral to the heart chakra. You go feelings, emotions, love. You feel what I'm saying? So the feelings are ultimately where the sacral chakra is, the sexuality. That's, the things that trigger you into one of the two emotions, because there's only two. You have joy and pain. You feel me? Joy and pain are the two emotions. The feelings trigger you into those emotions. And those two emotions create the personal identity that establishes how you're going to move in life. Feel me? So if you're triggered by positive feelings, you're ultimately going to move through the emotional joy, which is going to make you move through love. You feel me? It's going to create your personal identity that's going to cause you to move through love. If you're triggered by negative feelings, you're ultimately going to respond from the emotion of pain. And from the emotion of pain, you're going to move, your personal identity is going to be rooted in a life that is responsive through hate. Because hate is the opposite. Now, this is not hatred, like motherfucking go kill a motherfucker, but it's operating from the power of of love from the opposite perspective, from the opposite magnitude. So it doesn't necessarily mean destroy, because love can do the exact same shit that hatred would do, but it's justifiable off of different perspectives. But anyway, the point of that I was making is spousal connection is rooted in love. It's rooted in that power. You dig what I'm saying? It's rooted in that power. And by being rooted in that power, what it does is it sets the tone for the full realm of creation, the creative factor. So when we're actually making a spousal connection, we now rise in love. We don't have to tolerate shit. We're able to see the person wholly and holistically, everything about them. They have no flaws because the flaw doesn't exist, because it is an extension of them in their highest capacity, regardless. And that's what the spousal connection is about. So the spousal connection is about being able to connect with the whole person. So the spousal connection is where kids are supposed to be created. The spousal connection is where relationships are supposed to be solidified. How many of us have ever really had a spousal connection? Just because a motherfucker you called your spouse because you put the ring on their fucking finger. No. How much spousal energy have you ever felt what spousal energy feels like? You feel me? And that's very, very important when it comes to us as men. You feel me? Women too, but I'm talking about us because it's just so frail conversation, damn it. But when it comes to us as men, we have never created a spousal relationship. We don't even know what it is to create a spousal relationship, because our relationships, we have never seen anything healthy. You know, and I'm going to say, like, I get that you have, like, seeing something stable and functional is not the same as seeing something healthy. And what I mean by that is, like, you can have a stable marriage that was built from the fraternal aspect. You feel me? You can have a stable relationship that is built on a paternal aspect. You feel me? But have you ever seen a space, because it's like the spousal aspect, there's too much harmony and peace with a woman. There's too much harmony and peace with a woman. And we're taught that we're supposed to be, you know, it's supposed to be friction. It's supposed to be certain things. Like, there's not that ebb and flow. I think personally the last time I've ever seen a spousal connection was on TV with Everybody Hates Chris. His family, his father and his mother, their connection is spousal. And it's so fucking beautiful. Their connection is fucking spousal. You feel me? It's fucking spousal. And our relationships used to be like that pre-integration, pre-assimilation, pre-fucking with them, pre the enslavements and all of the other shit that has happened to us and shit. You know, we were able to operate as one. And that's what the spousal part is. You feel me? And in order to get to spousal though, spousal is like the end goal. That is like the ultimate level. You feel me? That's the boss of the game. You feel me? So it's like the intricacies of the spousal connection is like, how do you connect? Like, we want that energy, but we don't know how to connect with it from the beginning. You feel me? Why? Because you can't connect initially. Spousal energy has to be unlocked. You feel me? Your initial connection is either going to be fraternal or paternal in some way, shape, or form. But it's on you to fuse the energies and bring the spousal out. And that's very hard because it takes time. It takes time motherfuckers aren't willing to put in. It takes energy and effort that people aren't willing to have. Because everybody wants the spousal shit from the start. You feel me? Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I want it all to be right. You know, we live in a fairy tale fantasy world. You feel me? I say it all the time. You feel me? We're designed that men are supposed to go pursue the woman and shit. So we're on a quest for Rapunzel and shit. You feel me? And women are supposed to be looking for the knight in shining armor. You feel what I mean? Which is bullshit, because we're all in that metaphor is so powerful. Just that I'm using it with the knight in shining armor and Rapunzel, because we're always looking for women that are too far away from us. You feel me? As men, we're always going to look for women that are too far away from us, that we have to continually go find. Not any woman that's coming to our auric space that naturally feels resonant and resonates with our essence. No, we have to go and find someone that we have to save. Go figure, right? And then at the same time, women want the knight in shining armor. They want the motherfucker who's not. They don't want the motherfucker who's covered in soot. They don't want the motherfucker who's actually has the dirty armor, because he's the motherfucker who fought the dragon. You feel me? You're just gonna be entertained. You feel what I mean? We've been conditioned for this shit for years, all of our lives. We never been conditioned to have a solid spousal relationship. That's why the shits don't fucking work. Because the spousal relationship transcends all that shit. The spousal relationship is where the harmony and the peace is made. But it can only be made because we have to understand the masculine and feminine energies. You feel me? We have to understand the masculine and feminine energies. For us as men, we specifically have to understand that there's three types: the fraternal, the spousal, and the maternal. You feel me? I mean, the paternal, but we have to know which one we're connecting with this person. You know, you cannot establish the relationship off spousal energy from the beginning. The reason why is because the spousal energy is not, like I said, I'm talking like it's a video game and shit. Spousal energy is not unlocked until your relationship is evenly balanced between fraternal and paternal energy. You feel me? Work and play, entertainment and stability. You dig what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying there's levels to the shit, because most of our relationships are connected. We made a connection with the person fraternally. Oh, I like that you have this fun about you. You have this sense of humor about, like, you feel me? I don't toot my own horn, but beep beep. I'm a jokester. I like having fun. I got a very solid sense of humor. You feel what I'm saying? I can make a motherfucker laugh all day long. But at the same time, I also have the paternal energy within me too. So it's like I can be very serious. You feel me? I could be very serious and it shocks motherfuckers. It's like, yo, how can you be so deep? You were just playing like that. Because I know how to tap into these energies that will when they're necessary. You feel me? I have learned this shit over the years. And there needs to be that balance and ebb and flow between your fraternal and paternal energy. One can't. If your relationship requires you to be one more than the other, you're going to lose sight of that. And you're never going to be able to balance it. Now you have the control to shift it back. You feel what I'm saying? So like I was saying, because of, when it comes to my relationships, my connection with women, they're going to either connect to me with one or two things. And it's like I almost already know how I'm going to connect to this person. You feel me? I almost know all the time how I'm going to connect with this person. Like when the layers are peeled back, I'm like, you needed some paternal energy. Or I can tell, okay, yeah, you needed fraternal energy because, yeah, you need some fun in your life. Like, you feel me? You need some entertainment. And it's like those same women, it's like I can tell because, oh my gosh, I always laugh. I can't stop laughing when I'm around you. And it's like, they're just like, oh shit, laugh now, you're going to cry later. As my grandma used to say, you feel me? I'm not going to intentionally do the shit. But if you're trying to connect with that shit, the moment it transfers and it comes to something different, it changes. And here's another thing, and this still directed towards my brothers. I want y'all to pay attention to this, but I need y'all to understand why women get afraid when you're able to exhibit both of these, when you're able to use your fraternal and your paternal energy healthily. A woman knows that the spousal energy is coming. Like her inner essence can feel that shit. And if she runs off, if she gets scared, that's why. You feel me? She's never had it before. And now she feels powerless because not only does the spousal energy emerge, when the spousal energy emerges, it allows this woman to be in her full feminine essence, because your spousal energy as a man is your full masculine essence. You feel me? When it comes to relationship, as the spousal energy, you're able to operate from the full capacity of the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. A woman who's never been able to express her feminine essence and shit, she's going to feel powerless. So now you feel like, oh, yo, she shut down, and she'll fight you. She'll run away from you. You feel me? She'll run away. I see it so much, but you feel me? Because the societal structure has not allowed women to be feminine and use their feminine essence to the highest capacity. You feel what I mean? Because the societal structure has never allowed us to use our masculinity. It has been forced to remain dormant. And in this dormant state, if the shit comes out, you feel me? It's like, it's hard to deal with. So women, that paternal energy is going to tell a woman to calm her ass down, like, yo, chill out. Like, you feel me? But now, you ain't my father. You can't tell me what to do. This is why I seen this shit, and I be seeing this shit circulate on Instagram a lot. Like, women will say, I need a man that's going to tell me what to do, but know that I'm going to talk shit. You feel me? Why is that? Why do you feel that way? You feel me? So basically what you're saying is I need that paternal essence. That's what I'm like. You feel me? Jill Scott said it the best. She said, yo, if you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, then you can't tell me what to do, because it's levels to the shit. That's at that point you reach spousal energy when you can do some shit like that. You know, because women call it big dick energy. You feel me? It is what it is. But just to keep it PG, it's spousal energy. You feel me? That's really what spousal energy is, because now I have the capacity to tap into two different realms of fraternal and paternal. I know how to entertain you. You feel what I'm saying? But I know how to also provide the safety and the sanctity, keep you balanced and shit. I know how to do that. If women find that shit overwhelms them. When women find that shit, it overwhelms them. And men, and when we have that capacity for the shit, what we have to stop doing is downplaying the shit. Now, granted, please understand, there's a fine line, because when you think just because you're operating from a paternal energy, there's a fine line between the paternal energy and chauvinism and misogyny. Because when you're using it from a negative perspective, you want to dictate everything. Look, lady, you have to dress like this, do like that, do like that. Nah, that's when paternal energy becomes chauvinism, because that's where that realm sits. That's where that sits. Like, paternal energy is chauvinistic. Paternal energy is misogynistic when it's negative. You feel what I'm saying? Because now you're unable to give advice to a free spirit. You have to only give advice and only care for that. So that's why it's like the men who are more apt to doing shit like that, you have to be careful with that. Like, the paternal energy that you're connecting with, what does it feel like? Does it feel like your father? And do you have a fucked up relationship with your father? You got to pay attention to that. Does the fraternal energy feel like your brother, and you have a fucked up relationship with your brother? You know, does the spousal energy you feel as if you're in your own home? And what is the relationship that you've seen with your parents? Because that's going to set the tone for the type of spousal. You feel me? And a lot of the spousal, a lot of what we're creating, a lot of what we're making ourselves spouses out of is not spousal energy, but it's either the connection with the fraternal energy or the paternal energy. And then a relationship was built off of that. So there's misery going to happen, because it's like, damn, we never went to the next level and actually had spousal energy before we became spouses. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, this is where you get to the point where the spousal energy is the epitome of saying, okay, I marry my lover and my best friend. You feel me? But you miss the aspect, because high key, you also married your father figure. Nobody wants to accept that fact that there's somebody that they're supposed to be with can be that for them. You feel me? And that can be scary. I can see that. That can be scary. But you have to know why you need that out of them. So a lot of the shit comes from inner work. It comes from the inner work that we got to sort out and shit. You feel what I'm saying? In order to have a healthy relationship as far as the fraternal aspect, you feel what I'm saying? You got to have that healthy relationship with, like, with the people around you. And you got to be able to laugh and joke and not throw little snide remarks or shit like that towards people. But you got to be able to actually have that entertaining factor that's not all about destruction. You feel me? If the only time you having fun is when you drunk and turning up, like, you're going to suck at life. That fraternal energy I don't need. And that's where it's like, here's where, if you're only exhibiting one type of energy, I see it happen with women all the time, even men, but specifically women, because they're like, yo, I just want to take care of your heart. You want to exhibit maternal energy to a motherfucker who wants to connect with you fraternally. And it works. The reason why this shit works is because, you feel me? I want that care and that caution. I want that. And you want that excitement and shit. You feel me? But you need to get that from your equal. You feel me? You need to get that from the manifested energy. Maternal energy should be connected with paternal energy. Fraternal energy should be connected with sororal energy. And that will in turn make spousal energy connect with spousal energy. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, you got motherfucking men that are using paternal energy to connect with hot girls and bad bitches. And then you got women that are using maternal energy to connect with fuckboys. Like, that's the outcome that's supposed to happen. That's what your norm is. You feel me? You're not supposed to, like, that's why I'm saying there's levels to the shit. You have to connect with the fraternal energy. You have to connect with the paternal energy. And you have to connect with the spousal energy. That's what a relationship is built on. And those are the three types of the masculine energy. You feel what I mean? And when we as men learn these aspects and we truly dissect them and we truly break them down, we can look at our relationship and say, okay, this ain't gonna go that far. Like, not on any funny shit, but because I understand this now, it's easy for me to cut a woman off. Like, really, I know what song you probably thought about when I just said that, but I'm not gonna say that because I'm not gonna use that type of energy to describe women. But when that hits its point, I can say, okay, we connected from a fraternal aspect. You just wanted to have fun. You feel me? Chances are, when I meet women, it's 9 times out of 10, in most cases, it's connected from the fraternal. I made them laugh. And well, I ain't gonna say 9 times out of 10 because it's really, really a 50-50 split. I'm either gonna make them laugh or I'm gonna make them think. I'm gonna make you feel or I'm gonna make you think. And depending on what state I caught you in, that's what you're gonna find the most peace in. And that's what you're gonna try to magnify. And it's gonna fuck with you because I know how to use both. And I do use both. And I do operate from, I'm gonna connect with you fraternally. And then it's gonna shock you when, we have a disagreement and then I tap into my paternal energy. And it's like, I'm not using my fraternal energy to be at opposition with you and cuss you out and saying, nah, yo, you ain't listening to me, nah. But we're actually having a rational conversation because my paternal energy now turned on. And when my paternal energy came on, it's like, wait, you're not arguing? You ain't mad? Like, wait, hold up. You actually listening to me? Yeah, and you're going to listen to me too. You feel what I'm saying? Why? Because those two things create the spousal energy and the spousal connection. You feel me? But it's levels to the shit. But and that's where it also becomes a detriment. Because I don't know if it's because I'm older or I don't know if it's just the type of women that I could be attracting. But it's like I've noticed that, it just manifests itself that way. You feel me? That it's going to be like you make her laugh. She's got to stay there. Like women are now under the guise that whatever it is that brings me the most entertainment, I got to stay there. And that's another thing. Some women and people, I'm not just going to say women. When it comes to relationships, we're not looking for love and respect. We're looking for attention. And that all is fraternal energy. You feel what I'm saying? Some of us are looking for guidance. That is all paternal energy. You feel what I mean? And so we'll come to the relationships like, yo, you always look out for me. You always giving me this. Not realizing that you're paternally connecting with this person. You feel me? I got so many men and women. I have so many homies, people like, yo, you the big homie. I got people older than me calling me big bro. I'm like, oh, I'm younger than you though, right? And like technically it's like, nah, bro, like maybe in the physical. Yeah, I said they hit me with that. Maybe in the physical, but yo, bro, you've been here a couple of times, man. You big bro, yo. I'm like, yo, I'm younger than you, though. I'm younger than you. You feel what I'm saying? But that's what their connection is. They connect with from the paternal aspect. You feel me? And I have the people that love when I joke. They love when I play around because it's like that is the fraternal energy. But it's like that spousal energy is rare, and I can't show that. You feel me? Because that's the exclusive shit. You feel me? That's the exclusivity because it's like those 2 points are supposed to be balanced together and they're supposed to be created. They are created and supposed to be given to only one person. You feel me? My opinion, when people say, okay, well, you could be polygamous is all fraternal shit. You're playing. You feel me? But you have to be extra paternal to be polygamous. Me, I ain't trying to do all that shit. I just want one motherfucker that works. Like I can't do the extra shit. You feel me? Because in the balance of that, you now have to deal with all of these different types of energies. You feel me? It's a gamble and it's easy to play with when you're just entertaining. I ain't gonna get into that because that's not here or there. But the spousal is the quintessential piece and the peak of what it takes to enter a relationship. Enter an intimate relationship and stay there. You feel me? Motherfuckers be married from fraternal energy, bro. And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. So yeah, with that being said, that's pretty much it. Like that's what I wanted this conversation to be discussed, because it's like I'm learning that as men, you know, it's people as a whole, but especially as men, when it comes to relationships, we don't know what we're connecting with. Because for us, actually, like the end goal is babies and fucking, like, that's really the ultimate goal. Like, you feel me? We're conditioned to have that as the goal. But we don't really know what we're initiating. And the easiest way, this sounds so fucked up when I say it, but it's really not. But the easiest way to get in the draws is through fraternal energy. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah. And so it's like, that's how the fuck boys created. That's how that reality is made. Like, you feel me? The easiest way to get into the draws is through the fraternal energy. You make a laugh, you entertain her, you tack, like, you feel me? You keep that attention. And then over time, that's what happens. So, you know, and then it's like when you connect with the fuck, like, you're gonna get fucked. Like, I don't want to seem rude, but I'm just putting it in perspective because I want my sister to understand this shit too. Like, you're connecting with the fuckboy energy from the maternal aspect because you just want to heal his heart. You want to be the point that makes him better. You want to be, because a lot of our relationships are created through the fact that women are vindicated by how they can build a man, how they can change him, how they can take him out. But are you building a man, or are you trying to transition a man from his fraternal energy to his paternal or to his spousal and don't even know it because you haven't identified these things? So is women operating from the maternal energy that's trying to make the person that's using their fraternal energy stop? No. You've already crossed, like, you can't do that shit. You're not supposed to. You feel me? Vice versa. There's men that are operating from the paternal energy trying to save these hoes. You feel me? And again, I want to make it clear. I use it for humor, reference and shit. I don't view women as hoes. Like, you know, I don't. But the flow of the conversation is, what it is. Like, you got fuck boys and you got, you got these dudes trying to say these hoes. Like, you got these women trying to be mothers to a fuck boy. And you got these dudes trying to say these hoes and take them out the streets. You feel me? I want you to, I want to take care of you. I want to do this. I want to give you the world, show you the finer things in life. Yeah, that shit sounds cool on paper when you say it like that, but you admitting that you want to save her. But then you have those who want to be saved and shit like that. So peel back the layers and shit and realize what it is that you're connecting with that person. My brothers, when you're actually connecting with a woman, do not have sex with somebody you connected with as a fraternal connection. Like, for real. That we gotta stop doing that shit. We gotta stop doing that shit. Like, that is what is fucking our women up. You feel me? But it comes back from the aspect of what we assimilate into. We assimilate into a childish culture. Like, a lot of their men are fraternal. That's why I have my gripes with the civil rights movement and with a lot of the history that has happened. Like, we have infused and assimilated into a culture that really did not like us. And their men could not be us in any way, shape, or form because they don't have the capacity to understand the essence that we have. We naturally exude this shit, and we've been exuding this shit. So anyway, the point that I'm saying with that is that we're damaging our women because we're so busy trying to play. And that's where the fraternal energy operates. We can entertain her. You feel me? So it's like money, the cars, all of that shit. There's no, like, even as you're mature, even as if you're so mature, even as mature as you can possibly be, if you're still exhibiting fraternal energy, you're going to play around. You feel me? You're going to play around. Every life is a joke to you. Whether you're laughing at it or not, or even if you're still winning, life is still a joke. It's playful. You feel me? And that's a good thing in many regards because, like, you don't take it seriously, but you don't take it seriously. And that's when we're operating from fraternal energy. You dig what I mean? But then you have those operating from, you can't also operate solely from paternal energy. That ain't your child, bro. That ain't your child. You can't dictate what she wears. You can't control what she put on. You can't control how she moves. You feel me? Like, you can't try to change her into this and shut her down and all of that shit. And that paternal energy, because we're in a patriarchal society, women feed off of that shit because now, I get to submit. I'm going to keep it a whole million with you right now. The moment, if you ever cross into a relationship where you're able to use the spousal energy, not just become a spouse, use the spousal energy. I put money on it. I put everything that I stand on it, that you will not have to submit your energy, because you're going to be liberated, because the masculine energy is going to bring the feminine energy out of you. You'll be able to see yourself. You'll be able to see who the fuck you really are. And that shit's going to scare you, because now it's going to bring light to all of the issues and the shit that you've been holding on to for a long time. Now you're like, oh shit, this was actually a problem. I got to fix this. I got to fix that. And it's going to compound. It's going to seem like it's overwhelming to you. It's going to seem like it's hitting you heavier, but you have made a connection with that person on a spousal level, and they're liberating you. Paternal energy doesn't do that by itself. Fraternal energy doesn't do that by itself. That's that spousal energy. Spousal energy, the moment that it comes out, this person is operating as a man through spousal energy. You're operating at your highest capacity of masculinity and don't even know it. You already mastered the ebb and flow between fraternal and paternal. Now you have transcended that. And now you've provided a space to where the woman does not have to submit to you, but she has to be liberated by your essence. And she is liberated by your essence. And that shit, when you are able to use that spousal energy, you're going to hear a lot of tears from your woman, whether it's your woman or not. You feel me? If y'all are talking and you're automatically moving from the beginning, she'll be able to talk to you a certain way. From the beginning, she'll be able to pour her heart out to you and tell you everything. And it's going to confuse the fuck out of her. She'll be like, I don't even know you like that. And I just told you my whole life story. You feel me? Because that's spousal energy. Spousal energy is beyond safe. Spousal energy is beyond comfortable. It's beyond entertaining. It's beyond all of that. It transcends what fraternal and paternal set the tone for. You feel me? You can't run away from spousal energy. With that same capacity, if you know, whether you know the shit or not, but if you are able to use the spousal energy, now, and that's the thing about it, spousal energy is very, very, very tricky, because spousal energy also includes fraternal. It's not one or the other. So a lot of times you can find paternal energy that a woman will pour into as well. And that's the energy that still can be, if he's negative and he's misogynistic, chauvinistic still from that point, he can damage you and he can use that shit against you. But you'll know when it's spousal energy, because all you do is keep getting better. Even when shit starts to seem to fall apart, somehow it's still getting better. You're like, what just happened? You feel me? And you see that shit, and that's where the spousal energy connects. And that is the quintessential piece of what masculinity is in regards to relationship. You're able to enter it spousally. You feel me? On some real shit, like when you're able to bring the divine feminine out of a woman, or she's able to operate from the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of synthesis and construction, you're going to see some amazing shit. You're going to see some amazing shit. But then it's like, you got to be patient with it. You got to be patient with it. For one, a lot of us don't really know who we are. You feel me? So we don't really know how to operate from spousal yet. But like I said, mastering the two of the fraternal and paternal, spousal just naturally comes out when you find the ebb and flow and balance between the two. You feel me? So when we are able to tap into our divine masculine and we connect with the divine feminine, she ain't got to submit shit. And she's gonna feel awkward when she doesn't. She's like, I got a voice, I can speak, I can do this. And you as a man operating through spousal aren't going to feel intimidated. You're not going to feel like a woman can't talk in your presence. You feel me? You're not going to feel as if a woman is beneath you. You feel me? You can't. You're not even going to see, you're going to acknowledge her for the power that she is. And then you're going to want, after you acknowledge her for the power that she is, you're going to want more of it. You're going to crave it. You're going to want to bring that shit out. You feel me? But women, my sisters, when you experience spousal energy, don't run from it. Don't make excuses as to why you don't deserve it or why you can't have it. Because in your spousal energy, you're going to increase his masculinity. You're going to increase his spousal energy. It's not about being peace. You feel me? It's not about being peace. And that was another point. I got cut off with that shit. I'm going to say it now. That whole be the peace concept, the reason why it's so taboo and the reason why it's so problematic, because y'all are trying to be the peace for fraternal motherfuckers. That's y'all fault. But y'all don't know that it's y'all fault. Because y'all think the connection, because we don't know how we're actually connecting with people. You're connecting with fraternal and the fraternal energy of a man, the playful nature of his, the entertainment side of him. And that's what they're trying to tell you to be the peace for. You feel me? Men we don't need nobody to be our peace. We don't. when we're on that level of energy. You feel me? I got into a conversation with motherfuckers and shit talking about men need to, like, it was such a triggering topic. Like, yo, you wanna trigger some women and shit, yo, tell them to be a man piece, bro. Like, yo, they snap on you, bro. You feel me? They don't even give you a chance to, like, it's off with your head. Like, yo, be his piece. He need to be my piece. He could be his own damn piece. Like, damn. But at the same time, here's where the quandary comes in. Because women are being taught without, we're being taught without understanding. So they're being taught that, you know, you need to be the one that he can come to. Be his piece, but don't be his piece. Like, you feel me? Like, that was literally the concept, because it's like, oh nah, he needs to be able to do it. Like, you're not his mother. You're not his mother. You're not supposed to be taking care of him. You feel what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, oh yeah, be his, you know, he fights the world all day. He shouldn't have to come home and fight. Do you know what that concept is? That is when the harmony balances and you step into spousal energy. You feel what I mean? That's why you want to do that. But women are taught to do either or, one or the other. Just as men, we're taught to do either or, one or the other, not bring the harmony to them to multiply, to create spousal. You feel me? So the whole be his peace movement and shit, like, I don't need a woman to be my peace, but at the same time, don't get mad when the man is saying, I'm going to be my own peace, because now he's not communicating with you. Oh, you shut down, you shut me out. You don't say, no, I'm solving my fucking problem. I'm being my peace. You feel me? Because that's the validation that, you know, goes back into a woman's worth is been defined by how well she could treat a man or how she could build a man up. And if she can't do that to a man, then, you know, how does she feel? You feel me? But all of that was to tie back in and put it in perspective. We got to stop we got to stop creating children and lasting relationships with fraternal energy. Deadbeats, surrogate mothers, like, not surrogate in the sense that, you know, I mean, this is what I call the female equivalent of a deadbeat father. You know, I changed it instead of surrogate, unfit mothers. You know, you have deadbeat fathers, unfit mothers. You guys are creating relationships out of fraternal energy. You feel me? And now the babies are suffering from this shit. Babies should not be created in fraternal energy. You know, we're stuck in a world that we don't even want to grow up. We want to remain the fraternal side forever. Paternal energy alone, you can't be that, because you still got to be able to entertain your children. You still got to be, you can't create children if you two are so uptight and so stuck in life. You know, a paternal energy and a maternal energy, that baby's going to suffer. That baby's going to feel so cold and so boring. It's not going to be able to have that aspect. But we're creating all of this shit from negative ways. We need to create relationships and babies from spousal energy. You feel me? Take the time to get through the relationship phases to become spousal. Stop becoming spouses with fraternal motherfuckers. Stop becoming spouses with sororal motherfuckers. Like I said, like, that's why I said like 80% of the relationships, because all of these relationships keep ending with us being fuck boys and y'all being bum bitches. Like, something's off. Something's off. The reason why is because we've created a relationship through fraternal energy alone. And when there's no more entertainment, when I'm tired of entertaining you, you feel me? This is why we expect so much. After we take y'all out on a date, we expect to be entertained. We just entertained y'all. That's what it is. Didn't even catch it, did you? You know? It's like, bam, we meet you in a certain area. We meet people in entertaining phases. And then that's where we think we have to stay. So because of what we're trying to figure out through life, we have to be entertained. We want to entertain ourselves because we want that excitement on a regular basis. You feel me? So all of our relationships are catered to that. You feel me? All of our relationships are catered to that, which now segues back into one of the previous podcasts I was talking about, where opposites attract. You feel me? If you're born, you want that excitement. Sometimes if you're too excited, you want that boring age, and then you neutralize each other and fuck everything up, because we're creating that aspect of the fraternal energies either connecting and we're just playing all the time, or the fraternal energy connecting with a maternal energy, the sororal energy connecting with a paternal energy. And then the neutralization happens. We need to go through the levels of the shit. You attract the motherfucker, you connect with them for fraternal. If you connect with them for fraternal energy, learn how to tap into paternal. Learn how to say, okay, bam, it's time to start giving you guidance to build that balance and meet in the middle. Then you transcend into spousal. If you connect from the maternal, stop trying to take care of the motherfucker and start giving the motherfucker responsibility and shit. And you feel me? make them come into that paternal aspect. If they can't get up there, leave them the fuck alone. Stop diluting yourself and settling because this motherfucker can't get their shit right. Dip the fuck out. It's like 7 billion motherfuckers in this world. Yo motherfuckers out there. Trust me. Yo motherfuckers out there. But you got to be ready, be willing to connect with that person spousally. We never get to the spousal level. How the fuck do we become a spouse with a motherfucker and we're not even on the spousal level? You feel me? Because of a fucking wedding ring. You feel me? So imagine this is why, like, when you're connected through that's why the wedding is so important. Not the marriage, the wedding. So you can stun on hoes. You feel me? Oh, I'm married. I got somebody. You just mad because don't nobody want you, blah, blah, blah. That's that fraternal shit. That's that sororal shit. That's that sibling shit. You feel me? I'm not even married. I'm married for the entertainment. And I lock this motherfucker down. I got him. You feel me? Because if you connect on a spousal level, you transcend reality. And you start to create amazing shit. You don't just create pretty babies. You create beautiful children. And I'm not talking about on a physical level. You feel me? The mind, body, and soul connection. And you're able to sustain them and nurture them and create them into newer heights. You feel me? But we got to understand that. But again, this is starting to turn into a second podcast. I'm going to stop right there. These were the 3 types of masculine energy. As you know, masculinity is, the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. And now we have the masculine energy. The 3 types of masculine energy are fraternal, fraternal, spousal, and paternal. You feel me? It's very important that we start to look at that when we start to connect the relationships. If the motherfucker entertains you, cool, that's fine. But then make sure that they can provide stability. If the motherfucker stabilizes you, cool, that's fine. But make sure they can provide entertainment. And make sure you can do the same shit. Stop leeching, motherfuckers. And then you guys work together to ascend to spousal. Then you come together as one. Then you're able to start having sex. Then you're able to create children and build long-lasting dynasties and generational wealth and break all of the fucking cycles that are imposed upon you. And it becomes easier. You feel what I'm saying? But don't run away from the shit. When you reach the level of spousal energy, don't run away from the shit. Please don't. You feel me? So, with that being said, if you are not following me yet, please follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Follow the Just Scene Podcast at the Just Scene Podcast. Follow my merchandise at Just Scene's merch to get some dope designs, and everything. Follow, if you're trying to transition into the plant-based lifestyle, follow the Hidden and Raw program. Also, be sure to check out my books. They're available everywhere online, and they're also in the link of the description of your podcast. So Frail, the reality to Black male masculinity. So Frail 2, toxic femininity. And if you're trying to go into the plant-based lifestyle, Hidden and Raw, living a raw plant-based lifestyle for life. What I will say is this, because I don't want anybody to be surprised or blindsided. The 3 types of masculine energy is not in So Frail 1 or 2. That is something coming in So Frail 3, which is the finale of the shit. But I felt like I wanted to just give a little glimpse as to what I'm going to be going in on when it comes to that. So there's your only sample of what I'm going to be talking about out of So Frail 3. So with that being said, man, I thank y'all for listening, man. Enjoy your time. And I'm not telling y'all when So Frail 3 is coming out because I don't need y'all hounding me. But anyway, live, love, laugh. Be sure to acknowledge your relationships and start to see them differently. And if any relationships end because of this shit, it ain't my fault. If any relationships begin because of this shit, it is my fault. I love y'all, man. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, man. I'm out.